Welcome back to A Christian Reads the Quran on here on the C Files. I apologize. I've been away for a while. Um, I got hit last week with the busiest week I've had since I've retired. I mean, let me bring this down a little bit. I felt like I had a full-time job and a part-time job on top of it. I did not have any time to sit down and do anything. I was going like crazy. I just happened to be one of those weeks when everything piled up all at once. But this week I can start getting back to some of these readings and continue on. So I am in Surah 6, Cattle, Al-An'am, and I'm not too far from the end of it. Am I? Yeah, I got a little ways to go. Yeah, I got it's 205 verses. I'm going to be picking up on 118 and trying to run through this portion of the page. There's a lot of footnotes. So I might be repeating a few things I did before because I can't remember exactly where I left off on these pages, but I know it was on these pages. So let's just pick up on 118 and keep on rolling. Now, the reason I'm doing this series, Islam is making a lot of inroads into the Western world. And they're going to have a lot of influence in certain communities in the Western world and on our children. And, if we don't take the time to look at this book, which is the foundation of their Islamic beliefs, then we're really not doing our due diligence, are we? Especially as Christians. That's why I do this. So this is you can go along with me in this reading and learn what's in here and kind of understand where the differences are between Islam and Christianity. And so this is for educational purposes that I'm doing this. Okay, now that remember there's headings here. As you can see, there's headings like right here. Uh, the way the Clear Quran is written, this is a version of it, the Clear Quran. It's kind of worn off a little bit as I'm holding the book, as you can tell. I didn't mean for that to happen. I guess the oil from my fingers was doing that. But it's the way it's arranged, it's easier for us Westerners to be able to read it. First part is lawful and unlawful meat. So let's get right into it. So eat only of what is slaughtered in God's name, if you truly believe in his revelations. Why should you not eat of what is slaughtered in God's name when he has already explained to you what he has forbidden to you, except when compelled by necessity? Many deviants certainly mislead others by their whims out of ignorance. Surely your Lord knows the transgressors best. Shun all sin, open and secret. Indeed, those who commit sin will be punished for what they earn. Do not eat of what is not slaughtered in God's name, for that would certainly be an act of disobedience. Surely the devils whisper to their human associates to argue with you. If you were to obey them, then you too would be polytheist. The next section, I don't see any, well, there's a footnote. 288, that's the first footnote, and it's off of verse 121. I'll read that again. Do not eat of what is not slaughtered in God's name, for that would certainly be an act of disobedience. Surely the devils whisper to their human associates to argue with you. And 288 says, because Muslims are allowed to eat the meat of animals slaughtered properly and not carrion. It's Carrion if you want to look that up. The pagans of Mecca used to argue, why are you only allowed to eat what you yourselves kill, but not what God causes to die? All right. So this is I'm down south, and not to be flippant or trying to be comedic, but seriously, down south we would call it roadkill. For those of you who don't understand what I'm saying, an animal that dies not at the hand of man who's hunting the animal, but they die in the modern day hit by a car on the road, for example, and someone taking it as meat. That's I think that's forbidden here. Metaphor for believers and disbelievers. 122. Can those who had been dead, to whom we gave life and a light with which they can walk among people, be compared to those in complete darkness from which they can never emerge? How is, let's see, I've got a footnote. So let me read it again and I'll read the footnote. Can those who had been dead, to whom we gave life, we referring to God, to whom we gave life and a light with which they can walk among people, be compared to those in complete darkness from which they can never emerge. And the footnote is 289. The Quran often the Quran often compares disbelief to death and blindness, whereas belief is compared to life and the ability to see. All right. So back to the text. That is how the misdeeds of the disbelievers have been made appealing to them. And so we have placed in every society the most wicked to conspire in it, yet they plot only against themselves, but they fail to perceive it. All right. Next section is craving prophethood. Whenever a sign comes to them, they say, we will never believe until we receive what God's messengers received. God knows best where to place his messenger. The wicked will soon be overwhelmed by humiliation from God and a severe punishment for their evil plots. So you can see where some of these arguments that come out of Muslim arguments come from. Open and restricted hearts. This is the next section. Whoever God wills to guide, he opens their heart to Islam. And 290 is the footnote there, which says Islam literally means submission to the will of God. That's what Islam means, submission to the will of God. Uh, but whoever he wills to leave astray, he makes their chest tight and constricted as if they were climbing up into the sky. This is how God dooms those who disbelieve. That is your Lord's path, perfectly straight. We have already made the signs clear to those who are mindful. They will have the home of peace with their Lord, who will be their guardian because of what they used to do. All right, no footnotes there. The next part is humans and jinn on Judgment Day. Now, jinn is it's a unique creature that's in the Quran but not found in the Bible. Kind of halfway between human and angel, I guess. 128. Consider the day he will gather them together. I'm sorry. Consider the day he will gather them all together and say, O assembly of jinn, you misled humans in great numbers. And their human associates will say, Our Lord, we benefited from each other's company. But now we have reached the term which you appointed for us. There's a footnote after the word company, 291. For example, the jinn helped humans with magic, while the jinn had a feeling of importance when they had a human following. All right. Then he will say, I'm sorry, back to the text. I got to say that. Then he will say, the fire is your home, yours to stay in forever, except whoever God wills to spare. Footnote 292, i.e., disobedient Muslims. They will be punished according to the severity of their sins, but eventually no Muslim will stay in hell forever. Okay. Surely your Lord is all wise, all knowing. Back to the text here. Verse 129. This is how we make the wrongdoers destructive allies of one another because of their misdeeds. Next section is confession of human evils and jinn. Verse 130. God will ask, O assembly of jinn and humans, did messengers not come from you, proclaiming my revelations and warning you of the coming of this day of yours? They will say, we confess against ourselves, for they have been deluded by their worldly life, and they will testify against themselves that they were disbelievers. This sending of the messengers is because your Lord will never destroy a society for their wrongdoing while its people are unaware of the truth. All right, I'm moving along quickly here. The good and the evil. 132. They will each be assigned ranks according to their deeds, and your Lord is not unaware of what they do. Next portion is God is not in need of his creation. 133. Your Lord is the self-sufficient, full of mercy. If he wills, he can do away with you and replace you with whatever he wills, just as he produced you from the offspring of other people. Huh, it's interesting. 134. Indeed, what you have been promised will certainly come to pass, and you, I apologize. It's late. I had a lot of work to do today, and I'm kind of tired. My apologies. Indeed, what you have been promised will certainly come to pass, and you will have no escape. Not seen any footnotes yet. Next part is warning to Meccan pagans. 135. Say, O prophet, O my people, persist in your ways, for I too will persist in mine. You will soon know who will fare best in the end. Indeed, the wrongdoers will never succeed. All right. Unfair giving. 136. The pagans set aside for God a share of the crops and cattle he created, saying, this portion is for God, so they claim, and this one for our associate gods. Yet the portion of their associate gods is not shared with God, while God's portion is shared with their associate gods. What unfair judgment. All right, next portion is self-destruction. Still not seeing any footnotes. There's footnotes down below, but I'm not seeing them in the page. Self-destruction. 137. Likewise, the pagans' evil associates have made it appealing to them to kill their own children, only leading to their destruction as well as confusion in their faith. Had it been God's will, They would not have done such a thing. So leave them and their falsehood. All right. Idols share in cattle and crops. 138. They say these cattle and crops are reserved. None may eat them except those we permit. So they claim. Some other cattle are exempted from labor, and others are not slaughtered in God's name, falsely attributing lies to him. He will repay them for their lies. They also say the offspring of this cattle is reserved for our males and forbidden to our females. But it is stillborn. But if it is stillborn, they may all share it. He will repay them for their falsehood. Surely he is all wise, all knowing. I'm wondering where these footnotes are. I see 297 down here. Where's all the other ones? Did I go through? Okay, I'll go through the page and then go back and see if I can locate them. I'll read them. I'll just read the footnotes down at the bottom. This is Lost in Ignorance, verse 140, in case you're wondering where we are. Lost indeed are those who have murdered their own children foolishly out of ignorance and have forbidden what God has provided for them, falsely attributing lies to God. They have certainly strayed and are not rightly guided. The next part is God's bounties, 141. He is the one who produces gardens, both cultivated and wild, and palm trees, crops of different flavors, olives and pomegranates, similar in shape but dissimilar in taste. Eat of the fruit they bear and pay the dues at harvest, but do not waste. Surely he does not like the wasteful. All right, 295. I caught 295. Where it's saying he is the one who produces gardens, both cultivated and wild. The footnote says, or tri trellised or untrellised. Okay, that's a footnote. God's, let's see, are we? Where are we? Okay. Four pairs of cattle, male and female, which will take me into the next page. That's kind of long. So I'm just going to read the footnotes at the bottom. 293 says, the pagans used to assign God a share of their property as a charity to the poor, and another to their idols as a fee to idol keepers. However, God's share always ended up in the pockets of the keepers, whereas the share of false gods was never donated to the poor. Okay, interesting little tidbit there. See, 294 says some pagan Arabs used to kill their own children, especially females, for fear of poverty. Hmm. Others would vow to sacrifice a son and blessed with a certain number of sons. That's what a horde action that is. Uh, 296 says these four pairs were the main domesticated cattle in Arabia at the time of Revelation. That's going to be, I don't know where that one is. I don't see the mark. But we'll go to 297, which is going to be in the next one that we're going to read. Strong cattle like camels and oxen can be used for labor, whereas smaller ones like goats and sheep are not suitable for labor, but are good for their meat, milk, hide, etc. So this part's called Four Parts of Cattle, Male and Female, beginning at verse 142. Some cattle are fit for labor, others are too small. Eat of what God has provided for you, and do not follow Satan's footsteps. Certainly, he is your sworn enemy. God has created four pairs, a pair of sheep and a pair of goats. Ask them, O prophet. Has he forbidden to you turn the page, the two males or the two females, or what is in the wombs of the two males? Tell me with knowledge if what you say is true. And a pair of camels and a pair of oxen asked him, has he forbidden to you the two males and the two females, or what is in the wombs of the two females? Or were you present when God gave you this commandment? Who does more wrong than those who fabricate lies against God to mislead others without any knowledge? Surely God does not guide the wrongdoing people. I'm going to finish up the chapter because I'm that close. So I might go a little bit over, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and finish up this chapter. All right, meat forbidden to Muslims. Verse 145. Say, O prophet, I do not find in what has been revealed to me anything forbidden to eat except carrion, running blood, swine, which is impure, or a sinful offering in the name of any other than God. But if someone is compelled by necessity, neither driven by desire nor exceeding immediate need, then surely your Lord is all forgiving, most merciful. So, if you want a reference as to where it says that Muslims can't eat pork, like bacon, things like that, and boy, that's a sacrilege in the South, I'll tell you. Southerners love their pork. They love bacon and sausage and all that. Um, it's Surah 6, verse 145. So chapter 6, verse 145 of the Quran, otherwise called Surah 6, verse 145. Trying to see if I'm missing any footnotes. All right. So admit. Let me try this again. Meat forbidden to Jews, 146. For those who are Jewish, we forbade every animal, I'll slow down. We forbade every animal with undivided hoofs and the fat of oxen and sheep, except what is joined to their backs or intestines or mixed with bone. In this way, we rewarded them for their violations. And we are certainly truthful. But if they deny you, O prophet, say, your Lord is infinite in mercy, yet his punishment will not be averted from the wicked people. If you go to my devotion time series where I'm going through the Bible, I will hit passages about dietary laws and I will explain to you what those were actually all about and why New Covenant Christians don't abide by Levitical dietary laws. And there's a reason for it. All right, to continue with our education and what the Quran says, next part is called free choice, and it's verse 148. The polytheist will argue, had it been God's will, neither we nor our forefathers would have associated others with him in worship or made anything unlawful. Likewise, those before them rejected the truth until they tasted our punishment. Ask them, O prophet, do you have any knowledge that you can produce for us? Surely you follow nothing but false assumptions, and you do nothing but lie. Say, God has the most conclusive argument. Had it been his will, he would have imposed guidance upon all of you. Say, O prophet, bring your witnesses. Who can testify that God has forbidden this? If they falsely testify, do not testify with them, and do not follow the desires of those who deny our proofs, disbelieve in the hereafter, and set up equals with their Lord. I'm going to read to you the footnote because I'm not seeing it. 298 says, for example, a retaliation for international killing through legal channels. We'll see if we can connect that one. Oh, I see where it is. Okay, it's going to be in the next thing, God's commandment. So let's go through that. 151. Say, O prophet, come. Let me recite to you what your Lord has forbidden to you. Do not associate others with him in worship. Do not fail to honor your parents. Do not kill your children for fear of poverty. We provide for you and for them. Do not come near indecencies, openly or secretly. Do not take a human life made sacred by God except with legal right. This is what God has commanded you, so perhaps you will understand. And do not come near the wealth of the orphan, unless intending to enhance it, until they attain maturity. Give full measure and weight with justice, and never require for any soul more than what it can afford. Whenever you speak, maintain justice, even regarding a close relationship, and fulfill your covenant with God. This is what He has commanded you, so perhaps you will be mindful. Indeed, that is my path, perfectly straight. So follow it and do not follow other ways, for they will lead you away from His way. This is what He has commanded you, so perhaps you will be conscious of God. All right. So 298, do not take a human life made sacred by God except with legal right. Footnote 298 says, for example, in retaliation for international killing through legal channels. Okay, that's interesting. All right. I don't see 299. But I'll read 299. 299 says, i.e., when you testify or judge. Looking for it. There it is. Okay. So it says, we never require of any soul more than what it can afford. Whenever you speak, maintain justice. And it says, for example, when you testify or judge. All right. Next part is the Torah, beginning at 154. Additionally, we gave Moses the scripture, completing the favor upon those who do good, detailing everything, and as a guide and a mercy, so perhaps they would be certain of the meeting with their Lord. Next part is the Quran. And this begins at 155. This is a blessed book we have revealed, so follow it and be mindful of God so you may be shown mercy. Um, you pagans can no longer say scriptures were only revealed to two groups before us and we were unaware of their teachings. I'll read it again. It's verse 156. You pagans can no longer say, quote, scriptures were only revealed to two groups before us, and we were unaware of their teachings, and end quote. I think the two groups it may be referring to here is Christians and Jews. And the us would be referring to Islam. Now there has to come to you from your Lord a clear proof, a guide and mercy. Who then does more wrong than those who deny God's revelations and turn away from them? We will reward those who turn away from our revelations with a dreadful punishment for turning away. Now, of course, that's they believe that those revelations are from God and that they are true. Christians do not believe that. Jews do not believe that. Waiting for the apocalypse, 158. Are they awaiting the coming of the angels or of your Lord himself or some of your Lord's major signs? I'm about to get into Matthew 24 soon, within a few days, um, in my series on a devotion time. If you want to know about signs of times, when I get into Matthew 24, I'll talk about those and I'll talk about what they refer to. And I think a lot of people will be shocked and surprised as to what they actually refer to. But if you want to learn more about that, go to a devotion time, and we're going to work our way into that pretty quickly here. Let's see. I'll go with 157. 156. Where am I? No, 158. I'm sorry. I really skipped my eyes really skipped out. We'll read it again. Are they awaiting the coming of the angels or your Lord himself or some of your Lord's major signs? On the day your Lord's signs arrive, belief will not benefit those who did not believe earlier or those who did not go through their faith. Say, keep waiting. Oh, excuse me. Say, keep waiting. We too are waiting. Okay. Next says, not responsible, 159. Indeed, you, O prophet, are not responsible whatsoever for those who have divided their faith and split into sects. Their judgment rests only with God, and he will inform them of what they used to do. Okay. Reward for good and evil deeds, 160. Whoever comes with a good deed will be rewarded tenfold, but whoever comes with a bad deed will be punished for only one. None will be wronged. Next is way of life, 161. Say, O prophet, surely my Lord has guided me to the straight path, a perfect way, the faith of Abraham, the upright, who was not one of the polytheists. Say, surely my prayer, my sacrifice, my life, and my death are all for God, Lord of all worlds. He has no partner, so I am commanded, and so I am the first to submit. So he's talking about interesting things here. He's talking about prayer, sacrifice, his life, his death. So, all right, and that God would bless him for those things. Um, okay, divine justice, 164. Say, O prophet, should I seek a Lord other than God, while he is the Lord of everything? But which God are we talking about? You always have to ask yourself that question, any religious text. Which God? Which God? The one true God, you say, but how do you define the one true God? Who is that? How do you know his attributes? Do you understand his relation to mankind? Do you understand the need for salvation through that one God and so forth? No one will reap except what they sow. Well, and let me go back. Did I mess up? Let me go back to Way of Life 161. Say, O prophet, surely my Lord has guided me to the straight path, a perfect way, the faith of Abraham, the upright, who was not one of the polytheists. Say, surely my prayer, my sacrifice. Okay, I see the jab there using Abraham. The idea that Christians are polytheists because they believe in Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Um, and then using Abraham, saying Abraham believed in the one true God, but you polytheists, you got too many gods, right? Um, Christianity is not polytheistic. It's monotheistic. And I know you guys don't believe that, those of you in the Islamic faith, but it's true. One God. We believe in one God, but we believe in a different one God than the one God that you guys believe in. All right. 162. Say, surely my prayer, my sacrifice, my life, and my death are all for God, Lord of all worlds. He has no partners, so I am commanded, and so I am the first to submit. 164. Divine justice. We're almost done, folks. Say, O prophet, should I seek a Lord other than God while he is the Lord of everything? No one will reap except what they sow. No soul burdened with sin will bear the burden of another. Then to your Lord is your return, and he will inform you of your differences. All right. The last is the tree of life. 165 is the last verse of the Surah, Surah chapter 6. He is the one who has placed you as successors on earth and elevated some of you in rank over others, so he may test you with what he has given you. Surely your Lord is swift in punishment, but he is certainly all forgiving, most merciful. I didn't see anything of great significance to comment on there. There's a few things I could have commented on, but I wanted to get on through the chapter since we were so close to the end. And we finished it, and we are looking to get into chapter 7 in the next reading. That's called The Heights Al Araf. And it's got a little bit of a commentary introduction to it here. So we will go through that and then we'll get into it. And learn a little bit more education wise about what the Quran actually says. Um, I see a 300 301 footnote. I'm trying to see what it would be connected to. I'm not seeing there's a 301. All right, we'll read that first. And that's connected to waiting for the apocalypse. It says, on the day your Lord's signs arrive, belief will not benefit those who did not believe earlier or those who did not know good through their faith. And then it goes to the footnote. The footnote says, this refers to disobedience believers. I'm sorry, try it again. This refers to disobedient believers who neither did any good nor repented before the time of their death or the arrival of the day of judgment. And this is supported by authentic narrations from the prophet, it says. I'm going to see if I can find 300 just says, i.e., the Quran, for example, the Quran. But where is trying to give an example for? Scanning the page real quick. There it is. Okay. So it's going to be verse 157. And that says, nor can you say, if only the scriptures had been revealed to us, we would have been better guided than they. Now there has come to you from our Lord a clear proof, and the footnote says, i.e., the Quran. Okay. And that is chapter 6. So we'll get into chapter 7 next time. They're going to get shorter and shorter as we go along. I'm seeing that the chapters are going to go really fast as we move on. So anyway, I'm getting super tired because I've been pushing hard lately, um, with a lot of things that just kind of landed on my lap, and I didn't have much, I didn't plan it this way, folks. I mean, I ended up with a deacon meeting, a planning and zoning board meeting, three doctor's appointments. I can't remember what all. A special event that I at the church I had to help take care of. There's some other stuff during the day, and some. I had Friday night I had a CrossFit Open competition that I was participating in. I mean, it just, and I can, that's naming probably 60% of what I was doing, maybe 50%. I just, it's a blur at this point. I just, at my age, I don't want to get piled up with that much stuff. Oh, I had to study because I was going to teach Sunday school on Sunday too. So I spent hours trying to study for that in the midst of everything else that was going on. I didn't have time to make any videos. I didn't have time to sit down and get into this reading of the Quran. But this week I'll be back. I have a couple things this week with the VA, but hopefully I should be able to really get into chapter 7 this week and get rolling on it without being so exhausted. Um, and so pray, but then, well, for those of you Christians, and you're praying, you could pray for me as a Christian. I'd appreciate it. Um, I hope this is educational for you. I hope it's helpful. I do. Because one thing that I lamented when I was a kid is that the older generation was not keeping up on things like the secular humanism that was invading the public schools and really tainting the education of the children, even back in the 60s and 70s, 1960s, 1970s, with a bunch of secular humanism. And my parents were oblivious to it. And it did a lot of damage to an entire generation of kids. And I don't want to be ignorant of the fact that this is going to become very prominent in the United States, and we should not be ignorant of what it says and what's in it. I think it's important to know those things, especially as Christian parents. You should know those things because your kids are going to be exposed to it. I think that's very important. And so that's why I'm doing a Christian Reads the Quran. We need to know what's in it, understand a little bit about what it says and why it says it. And I'm not an expert, but hopefully this will inspire you to seek out some experts like James White and others, um, that really know the Quran and understand what's in it, because Muslims don't show up to assimilate. They show up to dominate. Islam is not compatible with allowing other religions to coexist with it. It wants to dominate them and overcome them. Islam is also not compatible with other forms of government, like a constitutional republic like we have here in the United States. Intolerable to Sharia law. Islam has to operate under Sharia law. It's a part of the religion. It's a part of their sacred book, the Quran. And so that's why I'm doing this. So we can learn together what's in the Quran. Now, the Muslims are watching. You already know what's there. You've already read it. At least I would think you have. Uh, and so that's where we are. All right. So anyway, I'm gonna let it go here, get some rest, and come back at it tomorrow. So take care, folks, and I'll see you next time here on the C Files.